Hello everyone, Black Witch Diary here, Luciferian Witch of the Left Hand Path and Occult Educator. Welcome back to my channel. So today in this video I am going to be talking about spiritual hygiene and my kind of tips when it comes to spiritual hygiene, perhaps some that you might not think about or overlook. So we'll be going into that today, but before I do so, a few announcements. Demons, what are they? Evil entities that fell from heaven to serve the devil, to tempt mankind into sin and depravity. Ancient gods and goddesses who were degraded into lower forms by Abrahamic religion in their attempt to sow fear so that they could maintain control. Or psychological concepts of the mind that reside in our shadows. Perhaps a combination of all three. Or none of them. We don't really know what demons are, beyond an educated guess at least. But what we do know is what they can do. Whether it's through higher magic or lower magic, demons will empower us to make changes and alchemize parts of ourselves and give us access to their gnosis. From this we can lead a life that we can take pride in and also leave behind a legacy. In order to access these beings to this level, it takes a degree of training and skill. Training of the mind and the self, of one's psychic abilities such as clairvoyance and telepathy, and also overcoming our limitations and unhelpful beliefs. Through this hard work, we can open ourselves to the infernal current. This is the world I want to show you. I want to take you through a 6-month intensive process to show you the power that you have that you did not know that you possessed. As long as you show dedication and commitment, not only will you be fully equipped in your practice of demonolatry and lead an effective and powerful practice, but also feel completely renewed within yourself and empowered like never before. If you're not willing to show commitment and dedication and work hard, then this program is not for you. But if you are, consider booking in your free discovery call with me at blackmagicdiary.com to find out more about Initiation Infernale and whether it's the program for you. The power and strength that you seek is waiting for you. So as I mentioned in my previous videos, I do group rituals every other Friday, 9 PM UK time on Instagram Live, and you can book your space for these rituals to have your petition included and submitted. So yeah, the next one, February 7th with King Payment. We are going to be focusing on magnetism and charisma when it comes to our communication and you know, what we want to do with this. So if that sounds appealing to you, you know, it can be very helpful in terms of our work, business and relationship affairs, becoming more eloquent in our speech, increasing our magnetism and our kind of attraction, and, you know, kind of like a bit of a glamour in a way to, you know, make ourselves be seen in a better light. So yeah, if that sounds like it could be something for you, please consider booking a space. The link is in the description. In terms of other stuff I've got going on, my partner, Ashley Estate, has designed a t-shirt with my face on it, which is quite funny. I'm making it clear that he designed it and I didn't, because I don't want people to think that I am an egomaniac narcissist that's just like, everyone should wear this t-shirt with my face on it and let me start a cult. The t-shirt looks cool. It's a cool t-shirt and it's got my face on it, so I don't really know if anyone would actually want to wear my face on a t-shirt. Someone's actually already bought one, so I was quite sort of surprised. I was just like, I actually don't know how I feel about people wearing my face, but you know, I suppose if it wasn't me, I would probably wear it. So yeah, check out my merch on my website. There's also some ritual flags on there, as well as you know, ritual supplies. So yeah, go check it out at blackmagicdiary.com. So into today's video, spiritual hygiene. So what do I mean by spiritual hygiene? You might kind of be thinking about, you know, oh, cleansings, protections, things like that. Yeah, you know, that stuff's all well and good, but there's also things that you can be doing that if you do, you might not have as much of an issue with spiritual hygiene in terms of having to do cleansings and protections all the time, because you are naturally maintaining it through your own active choices, okay? So I'm going to give you my top practical tips. This has nothing to do with, I'm not showing you how to do cleansings, I'm not telling you how to do protection spells or anything like that, right? Because yeah, they're needed, but if you're not doing certain other things, or you are doing certain other things that perhaps aren't beneficial to your spiritual hygiene, you know, cleansings and protections, you're either going to have to do them more, or you know, you're actively working against them. So the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to spiritual hygiene is our social life, right? The people that we associate with. It's said that you become the accumulation of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, okay? So that's something to think about. Are the people that you are spending your time with people that you want to be associated with, people that you know, share your morals and values, and you know, or are they negative people, right? And I'm not saying that, like, oh, you know, if you've got like a friend that's depressed, or a friend with a different opinion to you, like, I'm not talking about opinions here, I'm talking about people's behavior. It's people's behavior, it's people's choices, that's what I'm talking about, right? And it's how people are treating you. Are they vampiric in a way? Are they sucking the fucking life force out of you? Because that is not good for your spiritual hygiene. It's not good at all. And also, spending loads of time on social media. I am so guilty of this. I deliberately go on Threads to wind myself up with the insanity and cesspit that is Threads. I used to do it with TikTok as well. Now not so much. But it's addictive in the sense of, like, I don't know, self-righteous anger. Did you know that anger is actually a de-stressor? That is why anger can be enjoyable, because it actually de-stresses you. I know that doesn't seem to make sense, because anger is typically like a stress response, but through like the feeling of anger, so it's particularly like self-righteous anger, for some reason it's also like a de-stressor at the same time. Probably like worded that pretty badly, but yeah, maybe someone else can explain it better. But yeah, we can be sort of like addicted to these sort of like stress responses and getting angry and things like that. That's not good for your spiritual hygiene, your emotional state. I'm not saying that you need to keep your emotional state like balanced all the time, because that's not realistic. We're not aiming for perfection here, we're aiming for improvement. So it's not like, oh, I need to be happy and positive all the time. No, that's called toxic positivity, and you get that on social media as well. And it's not saying don't go on social media. Social media is kind of needed these days. A lot of people have their businesses on social media. A lot of people connect with their people on social media, you know, particularly if they live like far away from people, and it's just a nice way to catch up with people that you don't have time to see anymore, right? And it's nice to share pictures, etc., and share your life with people. It's not about that. It's about falling into the kind of echo chambers that take place on social media, the really heated topics up for debate, because the thing is, it's just like, and I'm so guilty of it, like, we all have an ego, and that ego wants to be right, and that ego wants to yap. I am a yapper. I tend to have usually a pretty good grasp on it, and I'll type something, then I'll backspace and be like, no, don't do it. But do you know why I do it though? Do you want to know the truth as to why I do it? It's not because I want to change another person's opinion. It's not that I think that me saying this is going to change the world for the better if I express my view and I think it's some sort of I don't think that social media activism is a thing. But yeah, say I did think that, I post that because I want to be right. because I want to shut someone down that I think is wrong and that I think is a fucking idiot. That's why I do it, and that is not a good part of me. That is not a productive part of me. That is a shadow projection, okay? So when you do that, you are, you know, bringing that shadow stuff out of you, and that is for you to work on somewhere else, right? Not exhibit in public forums, right? You are not changing anything by posting shit on social media. I know that things are very political at the moment, and everyone's got a fucking opinion, and everyone wants to have their say about it, and sure, free speech, like, say what you want, but I'm just saying, when you get too wrapped up in it, it's very bad for you. Very, very bad. But yeah, I don't think people realise that they're not going to actually change anything through moaning and whinging and whining online. Just like, oh, social media activism. It's just like, we need to do something. Get off of fucking Threads then, you. I heard that we say that word, we drop the C-bomb over here in the UK a lot more than you Americans do. I don't know why I'm saying you Americans as if it's only Americans watching me. I think it's the majority, I don't know. But yeah, apparently, I mean, you know, with my partner being American, he was like, yeah, you guys drop the C-bomb a lot more over here than we do. And I thought that was really interesting. We say it every other fucking word. Going off topic. So yeah, your social stuff. The people you're hanging around with, what you're doing on social media, how you're using your social media, how immersed are you in your social media. Things attached to you, thought forms, negative energy, and it's just like you need to just wipe it off. Trust me, after I've had an argument with someone on after I've had an argument with someone on TikTok, I find it incredibly difficult to go into ritual, and then my spirits are sitting there like, why did you bother doing that? You just wasted your energy. Next thing. And I have my everything I'm sharing today is everything I've got experience with. So yeah, addictions, drugs, alcohol, things like that, right? Drugs and alcohol, whether you're addicted or not, are not good for you spiritually, right? You might go, oh, but you know, mushrooms. Do you know how much I hate that fucking argument? It's just like, oh, mushrooms will, and ayahuasca and psychedelics will expand your spiritual practice. It really depends on your fucking brain, you know. It's not for everyone. Some of us are anxious motherfuckers like myself and cannot handle psychedelics. Some people do not have the brain for psychedelics. If you find that mushrooms, like, you know, enhance your practice or whatever, or like microdosing, I don't give a shit. But like, I'm talking about, you know, going out drinking all the time, and, you know, taking illicit substances all the time. It's not fucking good for you. And, you know, you're making yourself more spiritually open to attack, whether that's like from actual parasitic spirits, or if someone is actually magically attacking you. You are weakening your shield. Your defenses are lowered, okay? Have fun. You know, indulgence and all that on occasion. Moderation. You know, if you're like me, you can't grasp the concept of moderation. So, you know, there are people like me that just can't touch that shit anymore, and my life is a whole lot better for it. Because me on drugs is not a happy me, or productive member of society at all. So, yeah, you need to kind of rein it in a bit on the old drinking and the old drug taking, because yeah, it's affecting you spiritually. It's not good for your spiritual hygiene. Even when it comes to the seemingly innocent things like shrooms and ayahuasca, oh, it's a spiritual thing, psilocybin is a spiritual thing. Yeah, but do you really want to have to rely on something, on a substance, even if it is a natural substance, in order to, you know, be like in your spiritual practice? Like, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. That's just my opinion, though. The next thing I want to talk about is sex. So I'm not about to start shaming anyone for who they sleep with or how many people you sleep with. It's your choice, okay? But you need to understand that sex is an energetic exchange, and if someone has something on them and you are sleeping with them, it's going to rub off on you, okay? Like, it's insane to me, like, the fact that this has happened on more than one occasion actually pisses me off, right? So, like, I'll have a client, they want to hex their ex-partner or something, and I'm like, cool, I'll do that. And I've actually been asked by one of them, should I not sleep with him? I was like, no, don't sleep with him, don't do it. She does it. Yeah, and that's happened on more than one occasion. People go and sleep with people that they've had hexed. What the fuck do you think you're doing? Especially when I've advised you not to, okay? If you have something, that is your own fucking fault, okay? What is wrong with you? So, yeah, you need to be careful about who you choose to share your body with. This is why I support things like monogamy. On the Adversary, my Adversary podcast, myself and my partner Atius Day talked a little bit about polyamory and why we think it's gross. And it wasn't an attack on anyone that's polyamorous. We were saying it's gross for us to think about in the dynamic of our relationship, and the fact that we could never do it. It would damage our mental health, and I think it would massively I think it's damaging to one's spiritual health as well, depending on how careful they are about choosing their partners. You know, I think that, yeah, just if you're sharing stuff like with so many people, it's just not good for you spiritually, okay? I'm not like slut shaming you or anything. It's just how it is, right? And you know, if you think about orgasm being like creation, right? You are creating little astral babies with all that energy, and you know, it's just astral sludge getting attached to you, and it's difficult to get rid of if you're doing that all the fucking time, right? So what I've been through so far in these points is all kind of like, you know, lifestyle choices. So this is what I meant. It's practical, and probably what a lot of people don't actually want to hear. So yeah, take it as you will. You don't, like, who the fuck am I at the end of the day? Who the fuck am I to tell you what to do? But I'm assuming you are subscribed to me because you know, if you are a subscriber, I'm assuming that you're subscribed to me because you think that I don't talk shit. But yeah, anyway. Next is medication, right? And no, I'm not about to tell you to stop taking your meds. I am on medication. I am on an SSRI, and I have been on this SSRI since 2018. And it's the best SSRI I've ever been on. I've been on it for like 7 years now, and yeah, it's pretty good. Now, I don't like being on SSRIs because what I don't like about them is the fact that a little bit of history for you, okay? So when SSRIs were first brought out whenever they were brought out in the 20th century, was it like 50s, 60s, I don't really know. I learned this at university in a lecture about psychopharmaceuticals. When SSRIs were first brought out, they were created to be taken for a maximum of 3 to 6 months. They were not meant to be taken long term. When you take SSRIs long term and you want to come off of them, doctors will tell you the withdrawal period is probably about 3 to 6 months. Depending on how long you've been on it, the withdrawal can last you for years. Because when you are on SSRIs long term, not permanently, but it's essentially restructuring and rewiring your brain, right? It will take a lot longer than 3 to 6 months if you've been on them for, like, you know, 5 years or more, whatever, for that to go back to the normal and to know how your brain actually functions on its own, right? That's why I don't like being on SSRIs, because I don't like the thought of that if I do want to come off them, I'm going to have a super long withdrawal. The doctor that gave me this lecture at university said that he had a patient who came to him and said he was on SSRIs for like 20 years, and he said that he wanted to come off, and the doctor told him, don't bother. Literally, don't fucking bother, because it's going to be hell. And you know, I've had instances where I've run out of my medication and not been able to get more, and I go into withdrawal, and it fucking sucks. It throws me off for days. I feel sick, I feel irritable, I feel, you know, like I want to rip my skin off. So I don't like being on medication for that reason. However, what I do like about it is knowing that, like, I know how it supports me, right? I know that it gives me more emotional balance. I know that it balances my serotonin out. So I know what it's doing for me. It's sort of like, I just sort of feel like the opportunity to come off of it has been taken away from me, because where our mental health system is so strained, people don't know what to do with mentally ill people, so they put them on medication. I have been medicated since I was 14 years old. I have been on 4 different types of antidepressants. I'm on the 4th now, which is citalopram, for anyone wondering, who's just morbidly curious. And I've been on fluoxetine, sertraline, and mirtazapine. Mirtazapine was probably the worst one, because it made me really fat. So yeah, in terms of medication, I am not telling you to stop taking your medication. No, because your spiritual hygiene will suffer more if you are emotionally unstable, and how you might behave as a result if you're emotionally unstable. And I know that people worry a lot about medication and how that could impact their spiritual practice, and how you know, the abilities that they have when it comes to their spiritual practice. And I'm telling you now, don't worry about it. And if you are finding it's impacting your spiritual practice, then that's a call for you to make adaptations, because you need to put your health first, okay? Like, if you're diabetic and you needed insulin, there'd be no question here, okay? So what I'm saying is, don't worry about medication. As long as you are taking medication that helps you and that you're not abusing it, don't worry about it. The most spiritually clean person I know is on a very high dose of tramadol, which is an opiate painkiller for a back injury. So you know, it is what it is, right? Medication is not going to implicate your spiritual hygiene, especially if you need to take it. And the final one, and this is the most simple one, and do you know what, ironically I feel like it's going to be the one people are most offended by. The last time I mentioned this, I got called ableist. So the last one is being physically clean, keeping your space, your home, yourself, your body physically clean. I don't know why it's such a big ask. I don't know why it's such a big ask. I've seen people on TikTok with litter on their altars, and when I've said something about it, I'm called ableist. Not everyone can clean, some people are depressed. I'll fucking grow up. Like, I'm sorry, right? Like, I know it. Alright, I've been there. Like, I have a diagnosis of a subtype of depression, and yeah, I have avoided cleaning as a result. But if your depression is that bad that you cannot take down the Coke can and the dirty plate that for some reason is sitting on your fucking altar, which is meant to be your sacred space, you shouldn't be practicing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not even gatekeeping here. It's just it's just obvious, and it's disrespectful to do that. I saw this one once, and it was like someone's bedroom floor, like you can even see the bedroom floor, and it was just like piled up with clothes, like dirty laundry, and they were like, I refuse to clean my room, and this is chaos magic. And I was like, what the actual fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's really embarrassing. Why would you post that? Like, what is the outcome of this chaos magic you're supposedly doing, right? Fucking insane. It's just like, everything has to be accessible for everyone. And it's just like, do you know what, there's probably people in wheelchairs that are like, have, you know, a full-on physical disability that can clean better than you can. Like, it's ridiculous. So yeah, if you're offended by the fact that I'm telling you that your spiritual hygiene is going to be affected if you can't clean yourself properly, like, I'm not the one with the fucking problem here. I'm sorry. Like, if you are a stinky bitch, I think I'm deliberately being offensive now, but if you're stinky, you need to, like, sort that out. I'm sorry. Like, if you're stinky, you can't complain if you get something stinky, a little bit stinky attached to you. Okay? Right. So, that just about sums up what I wanted to talk about today. If you're offended, I'm not sorry. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video and you weren't offended, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.